Emotions, feelings, emotional intelligence, pain body. Where does all this fit in this awakening process and in the Enlightenment structure? So, I'm Jason at awakenedessence.com. Emotions. What are they? Emotions. Emotion. So, in this website teaching, I define emotions as emotions are a message. A message from your unconscious mind about something. So emotions are those things that humans don't really like. And there's a few myths about that regarding the awakening process. So I'll start with feelings and we'll define that, then I'll move on to emotions, emotional intelligence and pain body. So feelings. These are soul states in terms of the teaching here. You know, the obvious one, love, happiness, joy, peace, contentment, those sorts of natural states when you're, the sort of states you'd experience when you're sitting on a nice tropical beach or when you're with people that you love and you're feeling good. Is feeling good a feeling? Feeling good. Well, I guess it's a mixture of feelings, because good is a bit vague. And they are there underneath everything else all the time. And as you get good at your correct presence practice and entering that place where you are present or indeed in touch with the divine, you will notice those feeling states are there, regardless of whatever else is going on. Hello. I love the word agape. That means unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. So there's no mind judgments, there's no labeling. That is true unconditional love, where you accept everything it is, be it extreme pain, your leg being cut off, or as I did a couple of months ago, tried to cut my thumb pad off. Hello, darling. Right. So those are there under everything else. So if you're not feeling good right now, you've probably got an emotion running. It's something you want to get rid of. So emotions, there's 5 or 6 main classifications of emotions, and then all the others fit into that. So let's define those, if I can remember them. Anger, the fiery one. Now this includes rage, frustration, being miffed, being annoyed. All those subvariants are part of the anger family. Then you got sadness, right? You're feeling sad. And this one comes grief. Fear. And all of those derivatives. Now, I say in this website is the opposite of fear, which is still, I would classify as an emotion, is excitement. You're excited about the fact that whatever you're about to do is naughty or life-threatening. Right? So that's actually an emotion, not a feeling. Excitement is not an at-rest state. It's feeling state. So I've got to do this downhill section on my mountain bike carefully, or I'm going to come a cropper and break some bones. Okay, so fear, anxiety. That actually fits in the fear family. Fear is future-paced fear. Is anxiety. So you're scared about doing something because you're feeling anxious because your mind, your emotions, your system is kind of, oh dear, this is going to be potentially a bad outcome. You guys are being nice and quiet. What's the fifth one? I always forget one. Anxiety. Guilt. Every Catholic knows about that one, eh? The guilt. Which is quite often what parents and those in authority will apply onto you to make you compliant. It's even in our language, eh? If you go to court, what are you? You're either guilty or not guilty. So all of those sorts of things us humans don't like, and we want them gone. However, and this is the secret with working with your emotions and growing your emotional intelligence and how it fits into this whole process. Your feelings, your emotions are only one thing, a messenger. So if you've got an emotion running in your system right now, so be aware of your tummy, be aware of your hands. Tummy, hands, bum, feet. Step one of correct presence practice. Be in your body. And then you can actually feel the emotions that are going on. If you're not in your body, you don't really feel your emotions, therefore you can't actually release the emotions, therefore they get stuck, they just wear their way into your energetic systems and into your physical body as stress, and then later on, dis-ease. So separate out that word, dis-ease. What does that mean? Not at ease, dis-ease. Yeah, you're being noisy. I'm doing a video. Okay? Yeah, so shut up. Please. There you go. So being aware of your belly button, feeling your backside, your hands. Notice if you're in peripheral vision or if you're zoomed in, super focused. Relax your vision and notice what's going on outside of the screen that you're watching this with. Unless you're going for a walk down the road and you're just listening to the audio. In which case, soften your vision and notice everything that's going on around you. Now back to your tummy. Yeah. So as you breathe, no need to change anything. Feel your tummy. There are your legs. And your feet. Get in there. Hello, body. Notice the rising and falling. Is there anything going on in there? Quite often we'll have emotions running in our system and actually not be aware of them until we actually stop and do some sort of bodily presence entry process. This is why if you're practicing correct presence practice, it's all about body, step one, then your inner body, which is all that other stuff, your emotions, your thoughts, your mind, your pains, your aches, your sickness symptoms. Back to your tummy. Is there anything going on in there? Can you label it? There's a lot of research out there in regards to the different sorts of emotions and how many different emotions can you label. The more labels you have, because you can discern or indeed judge the difference, they're the same thing, gives you the capacity to be aware of them, so you can then be aware of them and start getting the message. So, one of the favourite ones out there is anger. What's the message of anger? What did your head say? Anger is the energy, solar plexus and liver, i.e. you're being livid, is something needs to change, and it needs to change now. Hence it's fiery, it's forceful, your body temperature may go up, your face may flush, you may grind your teeth. and its solar plexus. Stay conscious, boys and girls. Stay conscious. Come on. No. Nice Christy. Come on. Yeah. Come on. See, they're going into fear. And this is the reaction, eh? Something's going on that I don't like in my body. That's what you say in your head. In my body. Hands, bum, feet, tummy. Breath. Okay, what's going on? If it's fear, like these cockatoos just did because they heard the warning call of the noisy miner, which means freak out because there's a predator around. Up goes their crest. For us it might be, you know, gritting the teeth, doing the fist clench, i.e. fighting, fight, flight. That something needs to change. Now, okay, thank you unconscious mind, thank you inner child. So what is it that's triggered this anger? What actually needs to change? That's the message. We get into this in the laws of grace in huge depths. Something needs to change, and it needs to change fast. Now, if you are not practicing your presence correctly, or you haven't developed enough emotional intelligence, i.e. you're kind of present with it, what happens is people go deeply unconscious and then act out and do really things, you know, like damage stuff, say stuff you later regret, violence, you know. No, don't bite. That's the downside of anger. If you don't go, ooh, am I here? Am I present? Okay, step one. Be aware of my ass and my tummy and my hands. Actually, in the early stages, or phase one of got it, lost it, and phase two, non-abiding awakening, you know, just being aware of your hands when you start getting angry can actually just be a transformer, so you don't act out and react and do something that you and everybody else may later regret. So that's anger. Fear, terror, sadness. Well, not sadness. Fear, terror, anxiety. Do the same. And you can use those fear, anxiety type emotions as a message that I've got to be extra careful. I've got to make sure I do this right so I don't stuff up and I don't damage myself. That's the message from your solar plexus in regards to those emotions. Yeah. Sadness, grief and all those, yeah, it's really good if you can allow yourself to feel them, and if you're in an appropriate setting, yeah, let the tears out, let them move through. You know, that's to do with loss. Something's vanished that you're not ready to let go of yet, or you've enjoyed the company of. Be it something internal, something that didn't happen, an expectation that wasn't met. But the question is when they come up, what's the message? So if you can get the message and holding your presence practice as best as you can, even if it's just being aware of your hands and your backside. So back to your tummy and see if you can figure out what emotion it is. Sometimes it's tricky. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a concoction of different emotions. Now back to your tummy and be aware of your pelvic floor. Give it a squeeze. I'll give you a little secret. When emotions are running, if you can get into your pelvis, squeeze your pelvic floor, get down there, right down at the bottom of your torso, then you're under your emotions. That way you can feel them and not be so, well, you are associated. That's the whole point to being correctly present, is you are associated, but you're not sort of centralized within the emotions, because you are something bigger. Your presence and your inner body encapsulates your emotions. So if you can be physically aware of your lower torso, i.e. pelvic floor, your backside, then you're under them. And then you can look up, sort of. So being aware of your pelvic floor and your tummy. Allow yourself to sense what that emotion is, if there's one running. If you don't have an emotion running that's really obvious, just be aware of your tummy, your hands, your backside. Allowing your vision to soften, so as you look at this device, you can see all around it, so you're in peripheral vision, which activates more of your neurology. Notice your tummy. Notice your tummy. Feel your pelvic floor. Give it a contraction. And what emotions are running around? What's your tummy doing? Is it tight? Is it excited? Are you feeling some of the wetter emotions, the sadness, whatever? Just allow them to be there. Allowing everything to be as it is. Pillar number 2. Allowing all of you, including your head chatter about it. Now that's part of the picture, because your mind and its dialogue will kind of rabbit off what it's about. So listen to your mind. Your mind is your toothbrush. Go watch that video. You don't need to silence it. In fact, it's extremely required. Because your mind will tell you what it is that's annoying you or making you sad or whatever. That's part of the messaging process from Pillar 5, your unconscious mind, your inner child. Because your unconscious mind thinks and behaves like a 5-year-old. Per the prime directives of the unconscious mind, which is literally the operating protocol of how we work as a human being. That was good. Alright. So head chatter, the feelings in your body, the emotions in your body, being aware of your backside. Now just hold it. So what do you think the message is? Is step 3 of correct presence practice there as well, while you're aware of your hands, your tummy, your butt, your peripheral vision, what's going on in your body and around your body. And just allow it to be there. You will get good at holding emotions. You will, with practice. That's what emotional intelligence is, being able to allow emotions to come through, so then they move out, especially if you're listening to the messages that they're there for. And it lightens your whole system. It removes the stress out of your body, which is just emotions that have got very solid inside of you, so you lock up on it. Tummy, backside. So in the awakening journey, so that's how to find your emotions, how to feel your emotions, and start getting the messages. Then you can take it through to resolution and either just hold your presence with it and to the point where it vanishes. You can do inquiry, so there's a number of pages there on inquiry. which is where you're actively working with your stuff and not just sitting there and being present with it. And during the inquiry process, you listen to the emotions, you listen to the messages, your head will tell you what it's about. Then you allow yourself to say, yep, okay, awesome, thank you. Until the emotions move on. Or you get the wisdom from them, you get the message, and then your unconscious mind goes, awesome, you've done that for me, thank you. It takes practice. In terms of the 4-ingredient overview, what do you want? What are you going to do about it? Well, if you want to feel good all the time, come on, stay here, stay here. See, he's in fear right now. Everybody's freaked out and gone. And so is he. They have no filter, eh? They just act out. Unlike humans. So as you sit there holding your emotion, you can then start doing the inquiry. You ask what it's about, you sense what it's about, and then with your presence, step 3 in the correct presence practice process, you allow it just to be there. Until it's done. You fall into a deeper level of presence is the release process, and that's discussed in the inquiry pages. But feeling it's really important, even if you can't sit down and work on it. Say, you're at your job or whatever. You can't sit down and process your stuff for half an hour in a quiet room, can you? No. So be aware of it. Hold your presence as best as you can, or just be aware of your hands even. First part of step 1 of correct presence practice, be aware of somewhere away from your head. And then get on with your job if you're at your job as best as you can. Then you can go and do the cleanup later. So in the awakening process, the awakening journey, phase 1, got it, lost it. Yeah, you can have super potent awakening processes and then lose it all, and then you're still a slave to your emotions and they run you. However, as you practice your presence, you will learn to hold emotions while you are present. And this is a good indicator of how well you're moving in the awakening journey. The first time you hold full-blown anger and hold your presence practice at the same time will be one of the most key events of your life. Really. Yeah, it's quite astounding. Doesn't mean the next 5 times you won't. You might, go completely unconscious and act out and all the rest. But that's all right. With practice, you'll learn to master it. You'll learn to hold. And this is where I talk about the concept of bandwidth, or your spiritual pipe. So, bad, good. I said bad and you bit me. I love these birds, they just act out. Usually what I'm talking about. So as you practice your presence practice, when your emotions are running, you'll get better at holding them. So you have the emotion happening and you have your steps to presence practice happening concurrently. And what happens is you learn to function and hold them, which is Daniel Goleman's term for emotional intelligence. So you stay conscious, you stay at choice, even while you feel, technical word, crap, i.e. any emotion. Because feelings are soul states and they feel good. Hello, Miss Brown. And when you're in phase 1, got it, lost it, yeah, your presence practice will vanish out the door while you got emotions running until you learn to hold them at the same time. And start small with the easy ones, like mild sadness, mild fear, being a little bit miffed. Not angry, a little bit miffed, a little bit cheesed off. It's in our language, eh? I love it. If you're absolutely livid, no, not in phase 1, got it, lost it, chances are you will not hold presence practice. You will not be at step 3 presence while you're blowing your stack at someone. This all happens because presence is always here, and that's just common sense, eh? Pillar 9, common sense, that if presence is always here, then it just is, man. Then if anger's happening, anger's happening. If grief is happening, then grief is happening. How's your backside? How's your tummy? Has it moved on? Has any sort of an annoyance arisen because of all of the noisy birds? Yep, it's breeding season, so they're all a little bit crazy. Backside, tummy. So as you listen to the messages of the emotions, then they will move through. Now, again, allowing everything to be as it is, some things will take longer to shift than other things for numerous reasons. Stuff like trauma, of course, is locked into cells, possibly locked into DNA, locked into your heart brain, your brain stem, your amygdala system, your organs. So they may take quite a while to shift, and they'll come through in cycles. It's not a, oh, I'll just hold presence for 5 seconds and everything's going to vanish. That's a vague myth, unless that's, your evidence. And if it is, excellent. Send me an email or call me and tell me how you did it. So cycle through your 4 steps to correct presence as best as you can, as frequently as you can when the emotions are running. Get the message. And when you're releasing them, if you're putting positive beliefs and all that sort of stuff back in, it's important that the next time the situation comes up, you actually consciously choose to embark on the right behaviour, the right actions, whatever it is that caused it. That's how you're proving to God that you've passed the test. You're proving to your unconscious mind, hey, I can handle this. Awesome. That's why I suggest the success journal, the presence diary. So you can record all of this stuff and notice what trips you out so you can't get your presence back. If you're fairly fresh on this path, you won't be able to hold presence very well at all. And it's good to write that down so you know where you're at. No lying to yourself. Law 0, self-honesty, self-responsibility. Are you still here? So your emotions are the messenger of your most loved 5-year-old brother, sister, person, thing that is you, your unconscious mind, and that's how it talks to you with its emotions. And humans are terrified of them, and most humans are not terribly emotionally competent or emotionally intelligent. So therefore how they relate to others isn't so great. It's a real evidential outcome in terms of how you handle your emotions and how you hold them with your presence. Because in phase 2, non-abiding awakening, which is well on the way to proper enlightenment, phase 3, abiding awakening, You go through what Carl Jung describes as the individuation process, i.e. you will master your emotions. You'll still have them, because you're a human and that's how your unconscious mind talks to you. It's real grist for the mill, being a human being and on the spiritual path is emotional intelligence and growing that and being okay with them. To think you're going to hit some sort of enlightenment thing and you don't feel anymore and have emotions is a pure myth. Unless you're super extremely evolved. And I've seen some of the best teachers on this planet. Yeah, they use their emotions all right. There's a lot of stories out there about some of the top class teachers on this planet and where they yell, the walls shake. Because you can scream and yell and still be present at the same time. If you haven't experienced it, well, I've seen it happen. I can do it. So this is how you gauge your process, your practice, and your progress. Learn to nurture them like you would a 5-year-old that you love to bits, because that's your unconscious mind. In the Laws of Grace course we get right into all this stuff, how to deal with anger and all the different emotions, and we'll cover it in coaching. Having an emotional reaction to something is a good sign that there's something there for you to look at if you do active inquiry, i.e. actively processing your stuff, so your behaviours, your feelings and your emotions align better. State change. So make contact if you have any questions around this. Test it. What's the evidence? If you're after this enlightenment thing, yeah. Can you hold full-blown anger and be present at the same time? Can you have God blasting through you and be blissed off your face while you're experiencing hardcore trauma? This will happen. If it's happened in this neurology, it can happen in yours, because we're all the same. We're all DNA bags of meat. So I'm Jason at awakenedessence.com. Catch you in the next video. Here comes the sun, boys and girls. Up there. Who's coming up? You are. Hey, who's this? Is that you, Raspberry? Patience.